ASUS ProArt PA279CRV versus BenQ MA270U. And the real question is whether paying more for the BenQ buys you anything you'll actually notice on a MacBook? Both are 27-inch 4K panels over one USB-C cable, but the ASUS leans on Pro color calibration while the BenQ leans on Mac integration, and people often complain about wake-up quirks and scaling on whichever one they picked. By the end, you'll know which fits your setup. Let's break it down. Let's start with what you'll stare at 8 hours a day, which is text. Both are 27-inch 4K panels, so pixel density is identical, and Mac OS renders both sharply once you set scaling the way you like. Where they split is the coating. The BenQ MA270U uses a nano matte finish, and people coming off an iMac or a Studio display keep saying the same thing, that they were skeptical about matte and then found text looked essentially as crisp as what they left behind. The ASUS ProArt PA279CRV is also matte, but there's an opinion worth flagging from someone upgrading from a 2K ProArt who felt the newer matte layer added a grayish haze over everything. That's one voice against a lot of happy owners, so I'd read it as a unit or a taste thing rather than a pattern. For pure sharpness, honestly, call it even. Where it stops being even is the cable. The ASUS gives you 96 watts of USB-C power delivery, which is more than the BenQ's 90, and on paper, that's the better one cable setup. In practice, this is the ProArt's weak spot with Macs. Detection and charging over USB-C come up as a recurring gripe from MacBook owners, and one buyer describes ports that went from failing occasionally to failing constantly within a few months. Some people end up running video over DisplayPort and peripherals separately, which defeats the whole point of the clean desk. The BenQ, by contrast, is the one built for exactly this, and owners describe plugging in one cable and getting 4K, charging, and the hub instantly, with nothing to configure. One thing not to misread, though. It has two USB-C ports, but only one of them carries the display signal and the 90 watts. The second is a downstream port for charging an iPad or a phone at 15 watts. That reliability question matters more once you care about what the colors are actually doing. The ProArt is the more serious instrument here, with 99% DCI-P3, 99% Adobe RGB, and factory calibration to a delta E under 2, which just means the colors it shows are measurably close to correct out of the box. If you shoot and print, that Adobe RGB coverage is something the BenQ simply doesn't offer, since it covers 95% P3 and 99% sRGB and stops there. Here's one about the ASUS that stuck with me. I do semi-professional video and photo editing, and I didn't realize what I was missing all these years. You really see the true color saturations, and I left everything at factory settings without adjusting a thing. Uniformity is where both get shakier. A few ASUS owners mention tint or backlight bleed in a corner, and a few BenQ owners mention the edges losing a little saturation at normal viewing distance. Neither is widespread. And if you're pairing either one next to an Apple display, don't expect a perfect match. On HDR, skip it on both. Blacks wash out on the ASUS, and BenQ owners flat out leave HDR turned off, so treat these as very good. SDR monitors and nothing more. Living with them day to day is where the BenQ pulls ahead in a way you feel constantly. Its DisplayPilot software lets your MacBook keyboard control brightness and volume directly, and it recognizes a Touch ID keyboard. The ASUS makes you reach for the joystick on the back, and more than one owner mentions the panel being slow and stubborn to wake from standby, which is the kind of small friction that grinds on you every morning. Built-in speakers are weak on both, so plan on your own. So where does the extra money go? The BenQ costs quite a bit more, and you're paying for the Mac integration, the keyboard controls, the nano matte coating, and a USB-C connection that behaves. The ASUS is the cheaper one and gives you the wider gamut, the factory calibration paperwork, Adobe RGB, more ports including 2 HDMI and daisy chaining, plus a warranty ASUS extends to 5 years if you register it, though several owners have found their support process painful when something goes wrong. One is a color tool that happens to work with a Mac. The other is a Mac accessory that happens to have good color. Here's the call. For most MacBook owners watching this, I'd take the BenQ MA270U because the one cable actually behaves every single day, and the keyboard controls remove friction you'd otherwise feel every morning. It costs more, and that money buys reliability rather than specs. Now, if you edit photos for print and you need Adobe RGB with calibration, you can trust out of the box. The ProArt is the better instrument and the cheaper one, so take it and accept the USB-C hassle. But if your Mac is your only machine and you just want it to wake up and work, don't fight that battle. And for anyone chasing HDR, neither of these is your monitor. And you, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Links below in the description.